Hi everybody. So I've been giving this a little bit of thought. Just today it occurred to me that the kind of person I am is actually quite average. And I think this is a good thing, and here's why. For a lot of my life, and I'm sure pretty much everyone can relate to this, I was trying to figure out who I was, and I was trying to be special, trying to stand out and trying to be noticed and all of that. And lately I've noticed a bit of a pushback against people who try too hard to be special. Okay, and I feel like it's not healthy to try too hard to distance yourself from what everyone else is doing just on principle. Like, if what everyone else is doing is wrong, and you have a, concrete feeling that this set of actions is incorrect, right, then yes, of course, go against the flow, or, you know what I mean. Go against what everyone else is doing. I've got a little bit of brain fog. I had a baby recently, so I'm not able to express myself as clearly as I would like to. So please bear with me. But I think that when we try to just be different for the sake of being different, what we're doing is we're putting a lot of pressure on ourselves to keep up with what is mainstream just for the sake of going against it. And I feel like that's very stressful. I feel like in trying to be better or smarter or more enlightened than other people, what we're doing is we're setting the bar, to a certain level, and then if we fail to measure up to that level, if we fail to stand out in terms of intelligence, in terms of wokeness, in terms of, what have you, creativity, or, then we feel bad for not being as different as we want to be. And then what we do is we kind of overcompensate, like we're more aggressive about showcasing how different we are to make up for, feeling bad about how different we're not. Okay. And I think it's just so much easier to just accept, what I do, what I think, what I feel. It's within the realm of average. I used to have a huge problem with being considered average, average intelligence, average whatever. But the thing is about average is that that's what most people are, just by definition. And that's okay, because everybody can't be extraordinary at everything, and being average, it just means, being kind of like middle of the road and fitting in. Another problem with being special, being different, is, in my case, if you're too different, it's hard to find people who can understand you and whom you can relate to. And I know that the whole, I'm so different, nobody understands me, I know that's like a teenager trope. But I've experienced that as an adult too. It's a very uncomfortable feeling, especially in therapy when, now I've studied psychology, so I know what people are trained to say. And I've also been in and out of therapy for, most of my life. And just to sort out various thoughts and feelings, and what people are trained to say and how psychologists are trained to think, it doesn't always measure up, or, it doesn't always match up with the way that my brain works. And I find this very frustrating as I'm trying to explain a situation or a thought process to someone who doesn't get it, because they're not really trained to get it, because it's too unusual, and part of getting better, part of being well, is to just try to be like everyone else. Try to, get my brain to work in a more average way. And I can hear as I'm saying that how problematic that's going to come across to people who are specifically like in the special needs advocacy, which, I'm on the autism spectrum. But then again, so are quite a lot of people I know. So for me, being autistic is also within the realm of being average. Okay. It's a lot easier to have a brain that just works the way people expect it to work. And it's a lot less frustrating for everybody. Now, not everyone has that or can do that, And I'm not saying that they necessarily should. I'm just saying that you shouldn't try to be different. If you're different, that's okay. But for me, I'm just so tired of, I'll try to explain something that I need help with processing, and then the person that I'm trying to explain it to just isn't able to really get where I'm coming from, or they'll suggest solutions that won't work for me, and I know this from experience, that they won't work for me, because, most of the time, the solution you come up with right off the top of your head, it's come off the top of my head too, I've already thought about it, I've considered it, I've, tried it or dismissed it because I knew it wouldn't work, and so there's a lot of, and I know I come across as kind of stubborn and demanding for that reason, because I know what doesn't work, and it's 99% of things people suggest to me just don't. Okay. So in terms of the way that my brain works in certain ways, I'm definitely not normal, and that's also okay. But for the most part, some of my struggles with processing, some of my struggles with mental health are actually fairly common, common enough that there are memes made about them to kind of help educate others, like if you experience X, Y, and Z, those are signs that you may have some symptoms of ADHD, autism, whatever. Okay. And that brings me a bit of comfort and peace of mind to know that, hey, the way that I'm experiencing, the way that I'm processing isn't necessarily wrong or abnormal. It's just kind of how my brain does things. And I like that. Okay. So, let's see what else. Yeah, I'm home now. I'm in my, it's kind of like it's a room that's empty, but it's not empty. It's going to be a workout room, and I've got a craft station, and I've got my home office, and it's kind of a mess right now. But anyway, it brings me peace of mind to know that I have the same kind of symptoms of a lot of my friends, that we all kind of process things in varying degrees of similarity. I have the same hobbies as a lot of my friends, and I have different hobbies from some of my friends too, but it's just nice to know that I have things in common with people. I'm not just some, I guess, alien being that was just dropped on Earth, which is a feeling that I've gotten for quite a lot of my life, okay? Which actually led to me trying to be better and trying to be smarter, trying to be more special than everybody else, which caused everyone involved kind of a lot of pain and angst, because I developed a superiority complex over trying to be, sparkly, specialer than everybody else. And I was kind of an asshole to people about it. I was so nasty to people in school just because, I made the effort to be smarter than everybody else. So of course I thought I was smarter than everybody else. So I treated everybody else like they were less smart than me. And I hurt a lot of people's feelings, and that was a bad thing to do. Whereas if I just kind of relaxed and let myself be, let myself kind of go with the flow and let myself kind of be, let myself fit in, basically, I would have been a lot happier. Like, I don't necessarily want to be like everybody else in terms of there's some slang that I don't approve of. There's some habits and, patterns of behavior that I see from people in my peer group that I don't approve of. I try to stay away from. But again, those are just like common things that I personally dislike, not like I'm trying to be different for the sake of being different anymore. So, like, I enjoy sporting. That's when you read bad books or bad fanfics or bad articles, and then you just like with commentary you rip them to shreds. Okay, I enjoy doing that. I enjoy reviewing things. A lot of other people I know do this. I'm kind of online friends with several authors, like book authors and fanfic authors both. And I'm kind to my friends about their work. In fact, I befriend them because I like their work and I like, what they represent. But with writing that I dislike, I am vicious about. And hopefully nobody that I've sporked has rejection sensitive dysphoria, and hopefully they don't take it too personally that I'm saying your writing is awful. Because I don't want to bring their attention to their work, or to my opinion of their work. I just do it because it's fun for me personally. Another hobby that I have, like I knit and I crochet, and I know other people who knit and crochet. I don't think it's anything really, special or fancy. I make rubber band bracelets, and I do chain link bracelets. And I think that my work is just very, like anyone can do it. And I think that's great, because if anyone can do it, then it means, if they see me doing it, then they should have the confidence to know that, if I can do it, they can do it. It's the same thing with my music. I sing, produce music, again, very average. I used to have a great voice, but my vocal cords have been kind of shredded. I had bronchitis and pneumonia for a while, just off and on for several years. And then as the climate gets hotter, it's harder on my voice. There's also other issues. So, my singing voice is not as great as it was. My hearing is not as great as it was. My auditory processing, and sometimes I can't make the notes go how I want them to go. Like, I can hear that it's off key, but I can't make it right, but it's not like anything that I produce. I don't think that it's necessarily bad. It's just kind of meh. And that's okay, because again, if I can do it, anybody else can do it. And I just think there's something empowering about accepting that about yourself. Or for me, accepting that about myself. I don't really want to speak for anyone else, but for me, accepting about myself that what I do is the kind of stuff that anyone can do. It's like, well, it's better than if everyone else can do it and I can't. Like, for instance, driving. I'm not comfortable learning to drive. I tried to drive like the motorized scooters during my third trimester, and I can't get reversing right. I kept crashing into stuff, and I know it takes practice and all that, but I'm just not comfortable doing it. So there's some things that everybody else can do that I can't do. So to know that I can do things at least at the same level that most other people can do is great. I used to want to be famous. I used to think that the kind of things that I did were great and important. Everyone should know about them. But I know a lot of people have that mindset. So that's also kind of an average mindset. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't want to necessarily be famous. I have a few friends who kind of reached that, and they receive a lot of feedback. I'm not great at accepting feedback that I don't like. So I think, for the most part, fame isn't for me, but having my stuff, just put out there to be seen by people who have the similar mindset to me, people who can relate to me, and people, to be known by people who relate to me, I think is now kind of my goal. And it's an easy goal, it's attainable. And okay, so another way in which I've discovered that I'm average is with parenting. So my son and partner are in the other room. It's very dark in there. And he's, rocking the baby and has something on to entertain them both. And I had some symptoms that I didn't like, you know, during pregnancy and afterwards. I had these fears, that I would resent my baby, and I've had, these kind of meltdowns and such. And then I've told people about them, like, I feel this way, and this way, and I've had such and such a meltdown. And they're like, oh, well, I'd be worried about you if you hadn't. That would mean that you were some kind of robot person. I was like, oh, okay, so that's not actually too bad. And people also kind of understand that because I've never been around infants, this is all very new to me. I'm great at the mechanical stuff. Like, I can feed the baby, I can change the diaper, I can do rope, things like that. I can read, I can, get on the floor and read to him. I can show him affection, I love him very much. I'm very affectionate towards him. But when it comes to figuring out the obscure reason why he's crying now when all of his needs seem to have been met, I'm really bad at that. And so, I panic. I have anxiety. I panic if I'm left alone with the baby for, more than 10 minutes. So because we need some kind of income, we've decided that, and because our apartment is so close to my office now, we've decided that I'm going to work while my partner stays home with the baby. And at least until I'm more comfortable with him, or he gets to the age where I can communicate with him better, or I guess both. Loki thinks it'll be like a year or a couple of years or so. I was hoping it'd just be a few months, and I'd like get into a rhythm of things. Work's glad to have me back. I think my work is average. I think my work is very middle of the road, but my attitude about work is great. And that's kind of what has kept me there for 4 years, is that my work itself, I get a lot of feedback, I get a lot of redirection, but I get it done. I may not get it done as fast as they would like me to get it done, but I have a good attitude about work. I love being in the office. I love having things to do, and I work from home as well. My computer's currently balanced on top of a cardboard box over there because I don't have a desk. I haven't completely furnished things the way I want them yet. But I can do transcriptions from home, and then I can do everything else in the office. And so I'm working 3 days a week, 3 hours a day. And that works for me. And, there have been people who've referred to it as role reversal, which I really don't like. I don't think we're reversing roles. I think we're playing to our strengths, because if both of us are good at work, but only one of us is good at childcare, you're going to send the one who's, less good at childcare to work. And you know what I mean? Like, it's not a gender thing. It's not a role thing. It's just playing to the strengths of the members of the family, like how it works. I'm not good at answering the phone. I can answer the phone. I just can't transfer calls. I've hung up on a few clients by mistake doing that, so they don't want me answering the phone anymore. So that's not one of my strengths, so I don't do that. And it's kind of similar here. Like, I'll take care of him. Yes, I'll, again, feed him, change his diaper, cuddle with him, read him books. But trying to figure out the obscure reason why he's crying is my main deficit. It's the main thing that I struggle with. But, like, the more that I, have these new experiences and talk to other people about them, the more, they tell me that... Sorry, Loki came in, he wanted something. The more I learned that I'm just very average. Everybody has these problems, or if not everybody, then a lot of people have these same issues that I have. And there's a relief in that. Like, I'm not a failure as a mother, I'm not a failure as a woman, I'm not, So I don't have to try to really be anything because I can just be me and know that I'm like a lot of other people, and that's great. So I've decided that the kind of person I am is just an average person. So that's awesome. All right. Thanks for bearing with me through my rambling. Cheers, everybody. Bye.